Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self realization. Please subscribe for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently studying the scripture Srimad Bhagavad Gita, commentaries by my Guruji Swami Jyotirmayanand Maharaj, narrated by myself Swami Nikhilananda. So, we are currently on chapter 5, Yoga of Renunciation, and today's satsang we are starting from shloka number 25. Lord continues to give his divine wisdom to Arjuna about what to do, how to find peace and God realization. So God says, Labhante Brahma Nirvana Mrishayah Kshina Kalmashaha Chinna Dvedhayatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. Sages who have destroyed all their sins, who have no doubts, who are self controlled and devoted to the welfare of all beings, attain nirvana in the form of Brahman. So, here God is giving His um, wonderful assurance, His guidance that if you are on this path, you will attain self realization, just like the sages who have done so, and so many of them are enlightened sages, like my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda ji. You can see his picture in the background. Um, so, once you attain enlightenment, that is something that is beyond human comprehension and capacity. It's like the experience of waking up from the world process. So, those sages who have done that, they have destroyed all their sins and therefore they become Jivan Mukt, that means liberated while alive. Many who reach an advanced state but don't get Jivan Mukti, they don't get liberated while they are still alive, they get Krama Mukti. Krama Mukti means gradual ascension but no more coming back to the earth plane. They keep on going on upwards from different lokas, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, Maha, Janah, Tapaha, Satyam, etc. So, these saints and sages who have removed all their doubts, who are self controlled, nobody tells them what to do. They wake up early, they do the disciplines, and they are devoted to the welfare of all beings. They just see all of humanity as their family. They love animals, they love the plants, they are kind and compassionate to everybody. So, these are the sages and saints who attain nirvana. Nirvana, which is what Buddha attained, or Christ attained, or realized sages and saints attain nirvana, is meaning self realization or God realization. So that's the meaning of this deep, beautiful shloka. And then God continues, shloka 26. Kama krodha vayuktanam yatinam yata chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. He who has no desire or anger, whose mind is under his control, and who has realized the self, attains liberation even in this very life. What to speak of afterlife? So, here God is giving his guarantee, unconditional support, saying that if you adapt this path, and unfortunately, very few people actually take this path. Lord Krishna will mention it again in one of the chapters in the um, future once we read those things. But here God is saying very clearly, but this is why it's a journey, because giving up desires, giving up anger, these things are not so simple. But if we start practicing, then they do become natural, as they do to sages and saints who have achieved it. So such sages and saints have controlled desires, they've controlled anger, and their mind is in equanimity, and therefore they realize the self, which means they have decoded the mystery of consciousness. Who am I? Where am I? What is my body? What is the purpose of my existence? They already know all these things through their tapasya, and therefore they attain liberation even in this very life. That's what liberation means. Otherwise, what is it? We are already liberated. Everybody has to be going back to God, but we take a detour, we get lost. That's the only problem. We get lost in the cycles of birth and death due to power of illusion, power of maya, and due to the sense objects, and due to our mind and intellect constantly deluding us. So therefore, uh, such such advanced souls, through their self effort in many embodiments, and they attain liberation in this very life, which is what is known as Jivan Mukti, that we just discussed before also. So there God says what to speak of afterlife, so naturally they are taken care of. Moving on to the next shloka, shloka number 27. स्पर्शन् कृत्वा बहिर्भ्रायश्चक्षुष्वयान्तरे भ्रुवोः प्राणापानौ समौ कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ. So, and then the shloka 27 and 28 are together, so I will read the 28 also, because they pertain to the same kind of explanation. In some places, you see, it makes sense to take two shlokas and handle them both. So, moving on to shloka 28. Yatendriya mano buddhir munir moksha parayanaha vigate cha bhaya krodho yah sada mukta aiva saha. So again we will understand the meaning of both these shlokas 27 and 28. Having shut out all external contacts, focusing his eyes between his eyebrows, as you can see my red tilak, it's called the holy paste that we put between on our third eye, so that makes it better for meditation and it's more auspicious. But basically, focusing between the eyebrows, having harmonized the prana and apana, which means you are doing pranayam, you are constantly breathing with um, observation and focusing your breath. So you breathe through the nostrils, both your nostrils should be working. That's what we call lom vilom pranayam breathing. All these things are done so we can meditate. So it's the focus is not so much on the physically, of course we need to be healthy and fit, so we can do longer meditation sessions and be closer to God. That's the purpose. But the Muni, a sage devoted to meditation, controls his mind. So the agitated mind will calm down. When your breath calms down, the mind calms down. When you sit in one place, the mind calms down. So these are techniques to it's like training a wild dog or a monkey or a wild animal. You have to discipline it. It's not so easy, it takes a while, but if you consistently do it, it becomes easier and easier. That is why all the sages and saints guide us to wake up early in the morning and practice our sadhana, go deeper, practice meditation, etc. So they control their mind, intellect, and senses. So the sages who are working on this path, they hold liberation as the sole purpose of their life. So they um, basically eat, uh, like they say, eat to live or live to eat. Some people live to eat and other eat simply just to live. So that's what yogis do. They're eating just the bare minimum to live, and their sole purpose is to attain liberation, because that's a golden opportunity. Only in a human body it is possible to do that to get liberated, because even the devatas, the gods cannot do it, the demons cannot do it, and the animals and plants cannot do it, because they are all considered bhog yoni, meaning they are only meant to consume. They are purging their sins, or they are extinguishing their good karmas. Eventually this is ground zero, mrityu lok, earth planet. So basically we come back, it's like a gas station. Once your gas is finished, you have to come back for a refill, like another birth. So that will continue on and on till you break the cycle. That's what God is trying to guide us here. Those few aspirants who consider liberation as the sole purpose of their life, one who has renounced anger and desire is truly liberated at all times, because desires and anger, those are the roots of the weeds. Just cutting a weed from the top doesn't help you, does it? Because it will keep on popping up again and again. So you have to go to the root, and that takes effort. But once you take it out, then you control the problem. So therefore, God is saying here also, if you are able to control desires and anger, then you are peaceful and very close to liberation. This is the meaning of this shloka, shloka number 29, which is the last shloka of this chapter. We will then conclude this today. God says, मोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति. God says, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities, the infinite Lord of creation, and the friend of all beings. One who realizes me attains supreme peace. So that's what God is again guiding us, that I am sitting inside of your heart, and I am also in the cosmos, in the planets, and in the universe, multiverse, black holes, everywhere, in every atom I exist, God says. So therefore you come to me, you realize me, and you, whatever you sacrifice, whatever penance you are doing, God says, I am acknowledging it, it is reaching me, I am enjoying it, and I am the friend of all beings, and I have infinite capabilities. I do create this whole world. So one who realizes me attains supreme peace. So the wise people go after realizing God, not after worldly transient things. There are many, many such bodies we have taken. In every body, we have done these things only: work, eat, reproduce, have kids, this, that, get lost. And then when this wisdom dawns, then due to the grace of the Guru and through our inner grace, we start walking on this path. And then we are on our journey to liberation. But God is within us, He watches every move. So, with this, let us join our hands and thank God and pray. And we, as we conclude this chapter, Om Tat Sadati Srimad Gita Su Upnishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjun Samvade Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Panchamo Adhyayah Sampurnam. बोलिए श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय. Glory to Lord Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Thus in the Upanishad of the Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Supreme Brahman, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjuna ends the fifth chapter, the yoga of renunciation and action, karma sannyas, karma, action, sannyas, renunciation. So I hope you enjoyed the deep shlokas that God has so lovingly explained to all of us. And I will see you in tomorrow's satsang, and we will be starting chapter number 6. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Hari Om Tat Sat.